Thursday, April 2nd. Hello boys and girls. In today's video for ELA, we are going to be doing our comprehension check. Our comprehension check. So here, we are going to read the story. We're going to read the story, and then we're going to answer the questions. So whenever we have to do a comprehension check, a good thing we can do is we can read the questions first. That way, we know what we're looking for. We know what we should be thinking about as we're listening to the story. So let's look at the questions. What is a good title for the story? Okay, so a title, what does a title usually tell us? A title usually tells us what a story is about. So if the story, for example, with Splat the Cat and Valentine's Day, the title tells us it's going to be about what? It's going to be about Valentine's Day in February, him going to school, giving a Valentine, all those kind of things. And the title gives us an idea. It helps let us know what to be thinking of. Okay, so when we're listening to the story, be thinking about what's a good title for the story. What could we call the story? Number 2, what might Jen think is at the end of the rainbow? What might Jen think is at the end of the rainbow? Okay, so there's a rainbow in the story, and what is Jen going to be thinking is at the end of that rainbow? Why do you think John agreed to go with Jen? So John is the boy, Jen is the girl. Why do you think John agreed to go with Jen? So be thinking about, why did he agree to go with her? Why did he go with her? And then number 4, what do you think they found at the end of the rainbow? What did they find at the end of the rainbow? Okay, what did they find? Why did John agree to go? What is Jen thinking is at the end of that rainbow? And what's a good title for our story? Okay, now we're going to read along. After a rainy day, Jen and John saw a rainbow in the sky. What do you think is at the end of the rainbow? Asked Jen. I don't think there is anything at the end of the rainbow. That's silly, said John. Jen wasn't sure. Was it silly? Could there be something at the end of the rainbow? Let's go and see, said Jen. John agreed. So together, Jen and John searched for the end of the rainbow. What would they find? What would they find? Okay, so what is a good title for the story? What do you think a good title for the story is? We could even call it At the End of the Rainbow. At the end of the rainbow. At the end of the rainbow. Okay. What might Jen think is at the end of the rainbow? She even asked that question, remember? She says, what do you think is at the end of the rainbow? I don't think there's anything at the end. That's silly, said John. But Jen's not sure. Could there be something there? So what do you think? Whenever we think about St. Patrick's Day, what do people usually say is at the end of the rainbow? It's a pot full of what? Full of gold, a pot full of gold. That's what, for St. Patrick's Day with leprechauns and four-leaf clovers and all those things, that's what the legends and myths are about. A pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. What might Jen think is at the end of the rainbow? So we could say a pot of gold, or we could just say something not silly. Let's see. So you can say, you can come up with your own answer, or we can say, maybe Maybe a pot of gold. And we want to make sure we have a capital letter and a period. So titles, the capitalization and punctuation in titles can usually be different. So that's going to usually be a little different from just a regular sentence. Maybe a pot of gold. Capital letter at the start of our sentence, always a capital letter. And our sentences always have to end with punctuation. So this could even be a question mark. We could be asking a question. Or a period if it's a statement, or an exclamation mark if we're making a big statement. Number 3, why do you think John agreed to go with Jen? Why did he agree to go with her? We could say, why do you think they went? Because they are I would say friends. Maybe they're brother and sister. But we don't know that for sure. We could say for sure they're friends because they are friends. What do you think they found at the end of the rainbow? So if you follow a rainbow, are you really going to find a pot of gold? I don't think so. But maybe if this is a story, maybe if this is a science fiction story or a fantasy story, maybe they could. Maybe they could find a pot of gold. So for this one, I'm going to say they found. And for this, you can be creative. You can be creative. They found. What did they find? A pot of gold? A cloud? Nothing? And so sound it out. If you're going to write a pot of gold, pot of gold. We have it here too. Nothing, starts with an N, nothing. The is the TH, nothing, ing, ing. Or you could say something else. They found a castle. They found a unicorn. So do your best. Be creative. Think what you know about sounds and letters. And do your best to finish this. They found, and if you need the second line, you can go there. Okay, so pause this video, take a 5-minute brain break, and when you're done, come back. Okay, so we're going to have another little part of our ELA today. Today we're going to do this worksheet. Golden sentences. So it says, read the sentences and phrases on each pot of gold. Circle only complete sentences. Okay, so we're going to circle only complete sentences. To make it easy so it stands out, I'm going to just color them. I'm going to color them yellow. So the cat. The cat. The cat is furry. My dog and cat. So there we don't have verbs. We don't have verbs. So the cat. My dog and cat. So the cat is furry. So here we have an adjective, furry, describes the cat. Okay, the cat is furry. Think about if you're reading in a story, you'd want it to make sense. So if you just read in a story, it says the cat. It could be if you're just looking at just a picture of a cat. But we want to think of sentences that have a subject, a verb, adjective. So the verb is action. An adjective is describing it, telling it what it's like. Okay. I see green bugs. That's a sentence. I see green bugs. Green big bugs. Well, We're describing the bugs. We have a noun, we have an adjective, but it's missing something, right? It doesn't feel complete. So we want to think of a sentence that's going to have bugs can be big. Bugs can be big. So that's a sentence. Bugs can be big. I have 5 buttons. I have 5 buttons. I like buttons. Buttons can. My bunny will. My bunny will. My bunny will what? The bunny can jump. The bunny can jump. I see the what? Buckets carry. Buckets carry. Buckets carry water. Buckets carry water. Water in the bucket. Water in the bucket. Could be a sentence. Water in the bucket. So we have phrases. I think you have a complete sentence. Buckets carry water. I see clovers. I see clovers. I see green clovers. Is that a sentence? If that's a sentence, color it in. Green clovers. Again, it's a phrase. If someone says, what do you have in your hand? You could say green clovers, same as if you said the cat, or, what pets are at your house. You could say my dog and cat, but for this we're thinking of sentences that have more parts to them. More parts to them. So, I see green clovers. That's a sentence. But just green clovers, it's a phrase. Pigs are pink. Pigs are pink. I see fat pigs. Okay. Both of those sound like sentences, right? So we'll color both of those. Pigs will. Pigs will what? Pigs will what? Green is what? I like to wear green. Okay, yeah, I like to wear green. The green grass. I like to wear green. That's a sentence for sure. The green grass. Again, that's a phrase. The green grass. But we're looking for things that have more parts. I like hats. I like hats. My hat is so what? So remember, you only color it in, you only circle it or color it in if it's a complete sentence that has all the parts we're looking for. Look at the big hat. Look at the big hat. And so you do the other ones. And if you want to include some of the other ones that we talked about, that's okay. But the ones for sure, green is incomplete. Pig will. Buttons can. Those don't make sense. I see the. So. All right. Take a brain break. Today for our math, we have adding and subtracting in word problems. Mariah sees 8 dogs at the park. Some dogs go home. Now Mariah sees 5 dogs. How many dogs go home? Okay, so how many dogs did she see? She saw 8 dogs, right? So here, We have 8 dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some dogs go home. Some, we don't know how many, but it says now she only sees 5. Now she only sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she only sees this many. She only sees this many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many dogs went home? Well, let's look here. We have 8. And how many went home? Only has 5. So let's count 1, 2, 3. So look here. 5 plus 3 equals 8. 8 minus 3 equals 5. So how many dogs? How many dogs went home? 3. 3 dogs went home. Ben has 7 hats. 1 hat is red. The rest are blue. How many hats are blue? So he has 7 hats. How many hats does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 7 hats. So imagine, just pretend this is the red hat. He has 7 hats. One of them is blue. Or sorry, one of them is red. Imagine that's the red hat. And the rest are blue. How many hats are blue? Okay, so we have 7. And we're going to take 1 away. We're going to take 1 away. So, if we take 1 away, how many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or, look at the number line. We take 1 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then we could check. What is 6 plus 1? What is 6 plus 1? Equals 7. Oh, sorry. 6 hats. 6 hats are blue. 6 hats are blue, 1 hat is red. 7 minus 1. 7 minus what equals 1? 7 minus what equals 1? So I have 7 hats, 1 is red. We take 1 away. So 7 minus what equals 1? You're going to write that there. It's the same thing we wrote here. Okay, next page of our math. There are 8 triangles and 5 circles. How many fewer, that means less, how many fewer circles than triangles are there? How many fewer circles than triangles are there? So there are 8 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many circles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many fewer circles than triangles are there? So fewer means like less than. So we have 5. If it was going to be equal, what would we need for this to be equal? Think of it that way. If we wanted this to be equal, how many circles would I have to add for this to be equal? And that's the number you're going to write here. How many circles would I have to add for this to be equal? How many fewer circles than triangles are there? 8 minus 5 equals 3. And this says triangles, but it's asking about how many fewer circles. How many fewer circles than triangles are there? So, to make it make more sense, think of it in terms of circles. There are 3 fewer circles, because we have more triangles. 3 fewer circles. There are 2 squares and 7 triangles. How many fewer squares are there? How many fewer squares are there than triangles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. So how many squares would we have to add to have the same number? How many squares? Count that out. So 7, take away 2. 7, take away 2. Also use our counters. We have 7. We have 7. And we're going to take away 2. And that's how many fewer squares we have. So fewer squares, I'm saying how many squares would I need to equal the triangle? Write that there, and you are done. And please remember, you want to be reading 20 minutes a day in Raz Kids on Clever, or with books that you have at home. But you want to make sure they're at your reading level. So Raz Kids automatically makes sure they're at your reading level. So you want to be reading 20 minutes a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then every day, Monday through Friday, you want to make sure you're doing 30 minutes of iReady in math and 30 minutes of iReady reading. All right, boys and girls, see you in the next video.